and welcome to this very, very special conversation. We are in Srinagar, and the person that we are going to begin our interview with is the grand old man of Indian politics. No one today has seen as many summers and winters of Kashmir as Dr. Farooq Abdullah. Dr. Farooq Abdullah, pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much for your time here on NDTV.
Thank you. And Daksa will not just tell us about this election, but actually how Kashmir has been shaped since 1947. It was a time after the accession when Maharaja had to flee. It was Sheikh Abdullah, his volunteers, his Razakars who defended against tribal raiders. And since then, Jammu and Kashmir has seen many ups and downs. Daksa, when you look back and see after accession, then Sheikh Saab becoming the Prime Minister, then his arrest in 53, then the constitutional change in 1965, and then 2019, complete abrogation of Article 370. How do you recall all this history? Because you are a living legend, you have witnessed all these things.
I'll say one word: trust factor. Delhi has never trusted whoever is in power here. They've always tried to dominate, not thinking of aspiration of people, but aspiration of the leaders who are in Delhi. That is what the state has suffered from. I hope in future they'll like to trust Muslims as good Indians as anybody else. That factor has been responsible for tragedies of this state, and they continue in that manner.
Farooq Saab, one moment in your long political career as spreading over 6 decades, one moment that you realized that you felt very much part of, as you said, Delhi or the mainstream?
You see, I have never felt not being a part of Delhi. I've never felt that it was not there. But the trust factor has never been there. That trust factor has always been missing.
And Daksa,
from the beginning.
And Daksa, it transcends
misunderstandings and people who spread misunderstandings for their good, not for the good of the nation, for their good. That has been biggest tragedy of this state. That's why I went to Parliament. In 80, when I went to Parliament, my father said, "Don't join politics." I said, "Father, I need to go to Delhi, because everything is done in Delhi. All conspiracies are manufactured in Delhi. And there should be somebody who can meet those factors, who can try and tell you what is coming around." That's what has been the tragedy.
Daksa, you said people see they need to trust the Muslims. But when you say there has been trust deficit and it goes across parties, it's not the today's BJP. It was yesterday's Congress also.
I'm telling you, it's from the beginning. Ever since we became part of India, it's been there. That's what I've been fighting. That please trust us.
And as someone who has witnessed Kashmir's politics, has shaped Kashmir's politics, has chronicled it through your lives and times, tell us about it, Farooq Saab, and what are the significance of multiple elections that you have seen, and this one in particular, which is happening after the abrogation of Article 370?
Well, elections have been taking place here. And many times, if you remember, once when there was a DC Khalid in Anantnag, how he ate up the forms where you swear to the Indian Constitution. And when the members went, who were contesting, he ate those forms in front of them. So I remember when they went to, Congress people wanted to replace Sadiq Saab. And they went to Mrs. Gandhi. And Mrs. Gandhi told them, "You're all Khalid mate, what are you telling me?" She knew what had happened, yet accepted that. There you are.
Daksa, you talked about trust deficit. And one of the important things is when Sheikh Saab defended against tribal raiders in 1947, October 47. And the first Indian Army regiment, they landed at Srinagar airport. Once they reached Humhama and then Srinagar's Rambagh, they mistook the Razakars and the volunteers of Sheikh Saab for the tribal raiders from Pakistan, and several were killed. And since then there has been that mistaken identity factor with the Kashmiri. Why do you fit yourself? Because on one hand you are defending against tribal raiders from Pakistan, but the army mistook you, your volunteers, for the tribals. Isn't that mistaken identity still continuing in your politics?
You see, let me tell you. When the Indian Army arrived, Pakistanis were those, whether raiders, whether their forces, they were surrounding Srinagar. They nearly taken over Srinagar had the army not arrived, and people here, like Sherwani Sahib, who stopped them in Baramulla at the cost of his life. That delay really helped us for the army to come. When army came, I went with my father. That was the first Sikh regiment, and they were wearing kada sort of a thing on their heads. I hid behind my father. I'd never seen these 6-footer. I said, "Who are they, Papa?" He said, "They are the Indian Army."
Okay.
That was, and who guided them? It was the people, the Razakars, who guided them to those areas.
And also Master Abdulaziz in Muzaffarabad, who was
Yes,
killed by raiders.
no, and that people don't remember. People don't want to think of that. When he stood near on the bridge, and these people came and said, "Hand over these Hindu women and Sikh women." He opened Quran and put them before them and said, "Show me where Allah has said that you have to take these women by force." They threw that Quran into the water and then cut his head with their sword.
Master Abdulaziz.
That is what our people have done. They have sacrificed. Even when the militants came, how many of our leaders, our ordinary workers, were slaughtered by the very people who think we should be part of Pakistan? We fought them. But this government today doesn't remember that. No. They forget that part of it.
Daksa, when you see Jamaat Islami people today contesting elections, do you see that it is a vindication of your stand that you stood by the democracy, stood against violence and those who were preaching violence?
Yes, it's wonderful.
And that idea killing the people who stood for democracy.
I think it's a wonderful thing, wonderful move, that they are coming openly out and talking to people. Rather than talking in the mosques, they're talking to people now. That's a great victory for our stand. And I hope it continues to bring all people together for the good of the state.
And Farooq Sahab, we are also seeing that there are a lot of independents who are participating in these elections that are taking place in the valley. And do you see this as a welcome change from people getting more options from the parties which have so far been dominant?
That fear that the people can come out and vote. And the parties, whether they have got 1% or 10% or 100% or 1,000 people, it's a good thing. That's how democracy is strengthened. And I hope it continue to strengthen democracy in this state. Not the way today it is, under one-man rule.
And we remember very distinctly when you made that transition from the father to the son, where you garlanded your son, Omar Abdullah, and said that he will be the next chief minister. That transitions, how do you see that generational shift which has played out?
You see, life goes on. Things move on. Time had come when we had to have younger people. And this state needs a younger man because it's mountainous. It's so difficult some places to get to. And that was a good change that I made. I remember Badal Sahib and his son, Sukhbir, was made the Deputy Chief Minister of Punjab. And the whole meeting was held in Amritsar. A huge gathering, about nearly few lakhs. And as I came, Badal Sahib was standing there. God bless his soul. He said, "Tusa ne sara kuch de deta Umar nu? Ek hi kita?" And I go, "Sir, at this time, if he makes a mistake, I'm alive. I can correct him. It was not my luck that my father would have lived longer. So under his guidance, I would have probably not made some mistakes that I have made. He said, नहीं कुछ अपने पास रखना चाहिए था. I said, नहीं, मैं नहीं रखूँगा.
National Conference was the face of the regional politics in Kashmir, or the sub-regional politics or the Muslim identity of Kashmir. Congress was seen as a Indian politics in Kashmir, national politics in Kashmir. When there was an amalgam of these two politics, it created a political vacuum, and that vacuum gave birth to the Muslim United Front. And that Muslim United Front then made its way into militancy, and that's what we have been suffering all these years.
Maybe people see it that way. You know, we didn't sign any documents. It was trust that both of us will try and take this out of the misery that this state was going through. Poverty, unemployment, development at a very low rate. And all the keys of this are left with Delhi. So we made this trust between us that we will try to bring better progress to this state, nothing else. There was no question of any other motive behind it.
But you feel that was not a right decision because that created creative political.
Maybe yes, maybe that may be one of the things.
Okay, you feel that Raju Farooq.
And since we are in your house here, and this is the place where Gupkar alliance was fought, it brought you and PDP together. These parties have dominated the political space of Kashmir for so long. Farooq Saab, when you see multiple alliances that you have been part of, UPA, NDA, you know, and you have been architect.
Yeah, go on.
How has it all been so far?
Well, you see, what was the need for Gupkar alliance? Unitedly to fight the forces of division. That was the reason Gupkar alliance came in. What they had done on the 5th of August, 2019, it was for that. That's taken everything out of us. That alliance came in. Unfortunately, gradually people dropped out on various issues. I don't know who pulled them, who did anything, but they dropped out. We continued. But that old differences that existed did not die. And like my alliance with Maulvi Farooq Sahab, it was on the top. In the middle, it wasn't there in the people. Some have had great misgivings about us from very beginning, when Maharaja's rule was there. Those people did not accept it.
And that alliance then ending ahead of the assembly elections?
Unfortunate.
It ended, in fact, before parliament elections.
Yes, but I'm just saying that overall, Farooq Saab, you know, the idea behind that alliance, as you said, was to fight forces. And would it have been better if the current assembly elections that we are witnessing would have been in that alliance, a united India bloc or a Gupkar alliance?
Why not? It would have been better. But it didn't happen. Sad for all of us.
Well, Dr. Saab, our politics is now largely shaped by the change which have been made in 2019, August 5, 2019. That shaped the formation of the Gupkar alliance, or the way the elections at politics and the elections are taking place. But looking back, there have been two bigger events when it comes to the special status of Jammu and Kashmir. One was the March 1965, when the position was, Prime Minister was made as the Chief Minister, Sadr Riyast as the Governor, jurisdiction of the Supreme Court, and the Election Commission was extended to the state of Jammu and Kashmir. Which you feel was the bigger setback or the erosion of the special status? Was it August 2019 or it was March 1965?
It was from the beginning. In 1953, when Sheikh Sahab was arrested.
Okay.
It started then. To hold the chair, they did everything Delhi wanted to do. The only thing Bakshi Sahab would not agree to probably was the nomenclature being changed and some of the changes that they made in the constitution. That's why he was removed. Came in Sadiq Sahab.
Okay.
He removed the very basis of it. Chief Minister, Governor, that also to be appointed by Delhi. Earlier, Sadr Riyasat was from the state. And this process started then.
But which, according to you, was the biggest setback, 65 or 2019?
I think from the very beginning.
Okay, you don't quantify which one was.
No, it's the same thing. It was the same process that continued. What little was left
So why
was taken off these people.
So why is then BJP being blamed? Yes, that is being singled out. You have done this thing on August 5, when it has been being done since day one.
True. You see, those who know the state and know the problems of the state and know what the constitutional changes have taken place, the younger people don't know these things. Nobody has tried to put them before them. And what happened? That was our weakness. I think this is what we should have done. When I came in power, I should have done this. I should have put this in front of the people. But development was most important at that time. So none of these things were projected. I feel sorry.
But when Narasimha Rao, Prime Minister Narasimha Rao at the Burkina Faso says Sika is the limit, and you decided to contest elections after central government led by Dev Gowda, they persuaded you to contest elections in 1996. It was the period of mayhem, killings, deaths, and a development structure has completely collapsed. So was the social structure also. And you then passed the autonomy resolution that you wanted that the special position Jammu and Kashmir enjoyed in 53 should be restored. But you have on one hand by part of the greater this NDA alliance led by Atal Bihari Vajpayee. At the same time, same government, they rejected that autonomy resolution. Even your political opponents are questioning your, rationale today. What was the need to be part of the alliance when they rejected it, or it actually showed your absence of sincerity?
You have put a lot of things in one question. The point is, when all this was changed, my father was mostly in jail at that time. All these leaders were brought in by Delhi, and they did exactly what Delhi wanted to do. Now, when you see today, what is our differences with BJP? Not only what they did on the 5th of August, 2019, but the division that they are making in the country. Hindu-Muslim divide and Sikh divide, Christians divide. That is what hurts me. This is not that India that I knew, where all of us were equal. There was no difference. Today you see, you're killed in the train because you're a Muslim and you're eating food. You have come from Bengal to work in Haryana, a young man, to earn living so that he could feed his family. Killed, saying, you're eating beef. Where would beef be there in Haryana?
So are you Dr. Saab then saying we are the collateral damage of the larger, the social binary or the
That is the thing. I am against the way he went. Can a Prime Minister of this nation say that ये घुसपैठियाँ हैं, that these people, Muslims, if you have 2 houses, one will be given to them, he tells the Hindus. He tells them that if you have 2 cows or buffaloes, one will be given to Muslims. Can you beat this? That Mangal Sutra, which is a thing which married Hindu women wear, that will be taken away from you and given to Muslims. This is what I hate.
Farooq Saab,
that your posture going to the Muslim nations is different to what you do in the country. The posture should be the same. That is what beats me. That is something I never accept and will not accept till I go to my grave.
So you are saying Prime Minister is not inclusive enough?
No, he's not inclusive. He talks sabka saath, sabka vikas, and third thing,
Sabka Vishwas.
Vishwas. Where is that Vishwas?
Farooq Saab, one view certainly is that, you did business with a party which actually formed the government with the BJP here.
Oh, let me tell you, when she was made to resign, it was at that time also Before, when our father got BJP support, we begged him. Congress went, Umar went to the father and said, please, we'll give you total support without asking for anything. Don't join BJP. It was that thing that had happened. We were not part of that process. When she fell, she wasted time before governor could appoint a new government. They came here. I won't mention the name of the person. That, will you accept me as Chief Minister? Why not? But time was lost. And I think the governor made the biggest mistake at that time of dismissing, saying that I never received any cable. My machine had failed. What sort of a thing?
You know, we are seeing that the Lok Sabha poll saw a record number in terms of the voter turnout. And now most parties are participating in the electoral process. You know, there is no boycott calls or fear. As someone who has seen that era as well, when there was boycott calls to now, how do you see this transition?
Let me tell you, we always stood for all of us. Who created that fear? Who were responsible for that gun that came in here? Who? Who were the responsible for our minorities to run away from here, and many Kashmiris who belong to my parties had to run away for their life? Who? That is the crux of the situation. And our neighbor has never accepted that we are part of India and does not accept even today.
And Aksab, if we see, whenever we talk to BJP, they often blame you for the exodus of Kashmiri Pandits. Though we know fact is that so long you remained Chief Minister till the 18th of January 1990, not a single Kashmiri Pandit had left the valley. And during the period between March 1989 to January 1990, 5 Kashmiri Pandits were killed during the period of 10 months. So then what was that movement which actually triggered that exodus of Kashmiri Pandits just a day after you resigned as the Chief Minister in protest against appointment of Jagmohan as governor?
I told them in Delhi, Chandrasekhar ji, George Fernandez, and Surjit Singh ji, CPIM General Secretary, and the Prime Minister, VP Singh, please send any governor, but not this man. Because he, in his heart of heart, hates. Because the tragedy he saw when he was living in Punjab, in Jhelum somewhere, he saw people being slaughtered, their family people being slaughtered, Muslims being slaughtering Hindus, Hindus slaughtering Muslims. That was in his heart. He told me himself that I cannot forget that. And then what he did in Delhi, in Mrs. Indira Gandhi's time, Turfwan Gate. So his hate was there. I begged them, in whole of India, can't you find nobody else?
But
they wanted to send a man.
Was he responsible for? But he was not responsible.
And we are still fighting those serious consequences.
No, but was he
And I
responsible
asked
for
them.
exodus of Pandits or displacement of them?
Yes, we have proof about it. We have police officers who were told that the buses will go. You put them in it.
But wasn't there
And what
fear
did he
of the
say?
Pakistani
He said,
gun?
in 2 months, I'll bring you back. Today, 33 years. They haven't come back.
So, Farooq Saab, we have really come to the end of this conversation. I wish we could continue because, you know, after having spent so many years in politics, you have seen so many things and you would like to share. One thing that you want to share about your life and times that most people don't know about.
There are certain things which is better lie low. I'll go with them in my grave.
Yet one thing, yet one interesting thing.
What interesting thing in a state which is in turmoil even today. Don't look at the piece of the grave. Inside, there is tremendous tragedies.
Last question.
Are you hopeful, even today, hopeful for a better Jammu and Kashmir in the sense that the new generation, the new crop that you are seeing of politicians?
Why not? I'm hopeful that they will probably do better than what we did and make a better change for this state.
And Dr. Saab, on this election, which is seen as very, very crucial for the future of this place, which is also being first election in the history of Jammu and Kashmir when it is the union territory, and also when the tenure of the assembly will be 5 years, not the 6 years what used to be for more than 50 years now. So, but because even after elections, most of the key powers will remain with the lieutenant governor. Do you hope that when the new government comes, it can deliver, given the fact that for last 10 years there was no elected government? No
There's always hope. There's always hope that we will change this, that the state will be returned, duty will go, and the full powers will be restored to the state if they want this government to function, for the state to survive with the nation. If they don't change it, then let them know that the state will remain in turmoil. Whatever they may do, they will never win the hearts of people. It is the hearts of the people that you have to win, not by force, but by understanding them, understanding what they want within India. We're not out of India. This notion that has been given that Kashmir is separate, it's not separate. It had certain powers for the state.
All
So
right.
should we then assume that 370 would not be priority? It is the statehood which you want to restore.
See, how many years did BJP take or Sangh take to remove 370? The minute it was given, they started opposing it. It's not today. It took them so many years to remove it, inshallah. Like the British left after 200 years, let's hope that Government of India will realize that the wishes of the people have to be honored, have to be respected. If they don't, then God help this state.
All right, Farooq Saab, pleasure speaking to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.